Hey, what's up? What's going on, people? It's the BQF, the Black Quarterback Forum. That's right. Let me see if I can. Well, y'all know it's a Kansas City jersey. It's my man. He been playing lately. He got a different number this year. This is 70, I believe. Yeah, and his number is 90 something. I meant to look it up before I started the video, but I didn't. I was having issues with this computer. Anyway, y'all know what time it's. The BQF, Black Quarterback Forum. Yours truly, Alex Herring. BQF, Black Quarterback Forum. A couple other names I go by. I was thinking about all this stuff before I started, and of course, and it'll come to me as I'm talking, of course. So, we got the Black Quarterback, BQF, Black Quarterback Forum, BQF, Black Quarterback Forum on YouTube, and then we got the Black QBS in Effect, BlackQBSinEffect.com website, where I talk about the quarterbacks and have my little funny comments. So another name right now, A Dizzle. That's me. So anyway, I've been wanting to get this video started because there's a lot of craziness going on in this world, right? And I just have this quarterback stuff that I mess around with. It's just me this year, right? Before I had my last season, I had my man with me, and for whatever reason, he's not here this year, so it's just me. So yours truly, Alex Herring, Black Quarterback Forum, BQF, BlackQBSinEffect.com website, BlackQBSinEffect.com website is what I do. And I'm a few years older now than I would when I was playing. Obviously, I played a little bit of football. So I go back and forth with what I talk about on my videos. Y'all know me. But this book here, Rise of the Black Quarterback, and what it means for America. I'm still on chapter 6. I'm just gonna say that, and I'm talking about my man Taliaferro. He was a great black quarterback and just average player from average all around player is what I should say. What I've been reading so far. But my man that I have, and I can't think of his name will come to me in a second. But as a number one quarterback drafted black, was for the Broncos. So these cats that we're talking about in chapter 6 here, Taliaferro, and it's another one. But anybody, they were not drafted in the regular NFL. Okay? So their names don't show up on the draft list. But I got it all listed at my website. The first one, the brother out of Denver. And his name will come to me in a second. I didn't think to write his name, but I'm only worried about the current ones. But anyway, I just want to talk about that book. I am still reading it. I'm on chapter 6 now, where it's talking about these quarterbacks. I think chapter 7 gets a little bit more into current times, but chapter 6 continues to talk about these black quarterbacks and their greatness and what they brought to the league before, or in the 50s and 60s, before they allowed the NFL to exist the way it exists today. Okay, they didn't even talk about, I don't think I've seen any articles where they talked about the number of black quarterbacks starting in the NFL this past season that started. It's just like, it's just evolving to this. And we got black quarterbacks, so we got these guys now. So let's just move on. Well, anyway, y'all know here at the BQF, Black Quarterback Forum, that's all I focus on is black quarterbacks and what they're doing. Let me say this, because I'm probably going to forget a lot of things. And say a lot of things for the few people that's watching. And maybe more start watching. I talk about the black quarterbacks only. I touch on the full league a little bit. But in the AFC, it's pretty much written, said, done. That man back there. Patrick Mahomes. And I got Caleb Williams jerseys laying down in front of his. I didn't have nowhere else to hang it up. Let me get out the way. As Lamar, and my man in Houston, his name will come to me in a second, CJ Stroud. There's just so much going through my head. And like I said, there's a lot of other stuff going on in this world, but the football, for those that love football, it's king right now. Excuse me, I gotta keep drinking water. Okay. with that said, y'all know I love the black quarterbacks, and they got a couple other jerseys over there. You can't hardly see them. I got Jordan Love, my man out of Indianapolis, Anthony Richardson, and of course down there you got the Eagles with Jalen Hurts. So there you go. I'm probably never gonna buy Dak Prescott. I'll tell you that right now. He's the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. $60 million man is what I like to call him. He was on bye this past week. Excuse me. I got this room all closed up, and it's still warm in Arizona, believe it or not. We ain't got the coolness yet, so I'm trying to get there, people. Anyway, my man right here, Herring, for the Chiefs, he wear a different number. I think I mentioned that a moment ago, with number 90-something. He's been getting a lot more playing time, so I figured I'd wear his jersey. And since the Chiefs are the only undefeated team, maybe if I get to talk about football, everything will be all right. So y'all know I'll run through how they did in the most recent game. And we had a brother, Spencer Rattler, playing for the Saints, filling in. He was their backup, and he ain't done so well. So in his second game, he was 25 for 35, 172 yards, a 4.9 average, 0 touchdowns, 0 INTs. Excuse me. He was sacked 6 times for 36 yards. He rushed 6 times for 34 yards. So that was a wash. And he had a rating of 82.1, but they lost. And, I just made a comment that his family is probably excited that he's starting in the NFL, but I don't know if Derek Carr going to be out again for the Saints. I ain't been really keeping up with him because I knew he was on the team. Trust me, I got him on my charts. And I forgot that Derek Carr got hurt because I wasn't paying attention, and he's been in the last 2 games. So I don't know if Derek Carr will be starting in this third game that he's been out or not, or when he's coming back. But if not, Spencer Rattler again. And then Geno. They went up and beat up on the Falcons. Okay. He was 18 for 28, 207 yards. He had a 7.4 average. 2 TDs, no INTs. 1 game, Geno didn't throw no INTs. He was sacked 1 time for -6 yards. And he had a rating of 110.3. I believe that was the high. No, we got somebody. Jalen Hurts had and then Marcus Mariota had the best day in the NFC. But let me finish up. Geno he didn't throw no INTs. He had a game. And Geno's leading the league in passing. If nothing else, he might lead the league in passing. So 49ers, they're leading that division right now. But I'm going to talk about the upcoming games here in a moment. But San Fran played the Cowboys. If San Fran loses 1 or 2 more games and they go on and keep winning, they might get that division. Jordan Love he was 24 for 33, 220 yards. He had a 6.7 average, 3 TDs, 2 INTs. He was sacked 3 times for 25 yards. We had a rating of 96.5. So I highlighted his stats because they won the game. And I'm just looking over the other quarterback stats. And he threw for the most yards, but he did have 2 interceptions. He threw for 220. And I'm looking to see if anybody else that I wrote down. No, it appears that he did. But in that game, that was one of the games I was able to watch here in Arizona because the Cardinals were Monday night. And I'll get to Kyler Murray in a moment. But in that game, he brought them back in the last drive and able to kick the field goal and win the game. So, people are talking about Jordan Love like he's one of the best now. And, I saw that when he first came last year. He had a little tough time, and they went and beat up on the Cowboys and lost to the Niners. So everybody in that division have won 4 games or more. So, and we'll see. The Bears were on bye last week, so Caleb got a break. But we'll see where they did about another 7 weeks, right? Because this first 7 weeks that went by, quicker than quick for me. I try to pay attention and do as much as I can. To me, there's more important life going on right now. But It's what I do. I love football. I'm going to watch when I can. So Jalen Hurts, the Eagles, they keep winning. They're in second right now behind Washington. Believe it or not. I get the Marcus Mariota who filled in for the hurt Jaden Daniels. But Jalen Hurts, 10 for 14. Jeez, just 14 passes, 114 yards, 8.1 average. He had a higher average than Jordan Love, but not more yards. They won also. He was 1 TD, 0 INTs. He was sacked 4 times for 36 yards. He had a higher rating of 119.3, and he rushed 7 times, 22 yards. Because y'all know Jalen Hurts runs the ball a little more than the rest of these quarterbacks. So they did win. They would have beat up on the Giants, and it was Saquon mainly who was all excited about that game, right? I mean, he's going back playing against the Giants, letting them know, hey, I'm still me, the guy y'all drafted. So I was happy to see. But they're going, I think, Cincinnati. Yeah, they got Cincinnati, I believe. I'll check it in a moment. But yeah, they got Cincinnati. So, I believe they do. I got to check on that. So if they got Cincinnati, that's going to be an interesting game. We'll see what happens. And then Marcus Mariota, who filled in. Well, Jaden Daniels got hurt in that game. Then Marcus Mariota played most of the game. From what I was reading a little bit, sometime in the first, he came in and finished off the game. He was 18 for 23, 205 yards. He had one of the best averages, 8.9, 2 touchdowns, 0 INTs. He was sacked 1 time for -4 yards. He had a rating of 132.8. Yeah, they played, I believe, the Lions. I believe they beat up on. Could be wrong. Like I said, I try to look at everything. They beat up on a lesser team. I mean, if he came in and did work, Jaden Daniels would have did work too against that team. Whoever they beat. So, like, this nigga don't even know what they. No, I do. I just have a lot going on in life, man. So, and then it brings me to Kyler Murray. He was 14 for 26, 145, and 5.6 average. 1 touchdown, 1 INT. He had a 67 rating. And he had 6 rushes for 64 yards in that touchdown. So he ran down the sideline and scored. So that was the NFC. The AFC, now they're not throwing for a lot of yards right now. So CJ Stroud, 10 for 21, 86 yards, 4.1 average. One of his worst games. 0 INT, 0 touchdowns. He was sacked 4 times for 31 yards. QBR rating of 58.8. Well, they played the Packers. And they was like, nah, you're not going to come up in here. That game may have been different if they played it in Houston. Maybe he'd had 100 more yards or 100-something yards. And they still would have lost. But, I love C.J. Stroud. But Jordan Love has been in the trenches longer, sitting behind Aaron Rodgers waiting. So, if anybody, CJ will be back. He'll be back next week, whoever they're playing. I mean, trust me, he'll be back. Tyler Huntley is filling in for my man Tua Tagovailoa, who is coming back. I believe I was reading he's coming back. But anyway, Tyler Huntley was 7 for 13, 87 yards. Wow, 1 more yard than CJ. He had a 6.7 average. He did throw for a touchdown, no INTs. He was sacked 2 times for 12 yards. He had a rating of 100.5. So, I mean, he's done. He was just filling in for Tua. And Tua's back from what I was reading earlier. He's back, so. Then we got Anthony Richardson, who really struggled in this game. But they won. They beat the Dolphins. He was 10 for 24, 129 yards, 5.4 average. No TDs, no INTs. No sacks. He rushed the ball 14 times for 56 yards. And his rating is 59.2. So there's a lot of work to do with Anthony Richardson. I mean, they're winning despite of him. But if they ever get it right with him and he gets going, man, they're gonna be a hard team. But they're winning right now. They're in second in that division. So behind Houston. And Patrick Mahomes. I don't think he's had touchdown passes in the last 2 games. He had some interceptions. He was 16 for 27, 154 yards. Wow. His 5.7 average, 0 TDs, 2 INTs. He was sacked 2 times for -9 yards. One of his fucking talk. Lowest ratings, 44.4, but they're 6-0. That's why I'm wearing this tonight, and I'm sweating. It's hot in Arizona still, believe it or not. It's for all the 5 people that are watching this. If you don't live in Arizona, I know one of you do, but it's hot. So we are still roasting. I'm trying to cool off. Anyway, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are undefeated, and they look like they're going to be undefeated for a moment. Because they ain't losing this week. I think they play the Raiders. Yeah, who are trying to figure out who's going to be quarterback for them. No. The Raiders they went into Baltimore. Baltimore, week 2, was still upset about the loss in week 1 to Mahomes and them. So they wasn't focused. But since that game, Baltimore has been like 5-2, 4. They lights out. Lamar Jackson. Okay, let's get it rolling here. So anyway, Russell Wilson and the Steelers. He was 16 for 29, 264 yards, 9.1 average, 2 touchdowns, 0 INTs. He was sacked 1 time for 4 yards. His rating was 109.0. And if I don't mention a quarterback's rushing yards, it's because he didn't do much and it's nothing to mention. So Russell, I forget exactly what stat, but he created some stat by, I think, throwing for more yards. Ben never threw for 264. Anyway, I can't remember what stat, but he set some record for the Steelers in that game. So, but it means nothing, right? Because if they don't go on and win the championship, then people forget in this game. That's all I'm saying, man. With all these statistics, brings me to Lamar Jackson, baby. And y'all know, man, look, I ain't got to scream about Lamar. The thing with Lamar is, are they going to beat the Chiefs? Because that's your AFC right there. Lamar and Patrick. Yeah, the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. Let me get to his stats. He was 17 for 22, 281 yards. And as I look, that was the most yards of anyone in the AFC. He had most yards overall? Yeah, he did. Most yards by any quarterback. So, 17 for 22, 281, 12.8 average. Man, every time he throwing for a first down. 5 touchdowns. On the homepage of the website, I got this picture of him. He's just rushing. He's just rushing over. Who was that? Baker Mayfield and them sorry cats. He was sacked 2 times with -12 yards. His rating was 158.1. He had 9 for 52 on the rushes. So, I'm just going to say it like this, right? In the NFC, it's wide open. I mean, I know I don't talk about the white quarterbacks, and they're doing well. You got my man in Minnesota. You got my man in Detroit. You got Kirk Cousins, who I like. And you got the boy in Detroit. I mean, not Detroit, San Fran. So, obviously, right now with the division winners, who are they? In the East, it's Washington. In the West, it's Seattle at the moment. The North, the Lions. And then the East, and the Washington. So, I mean, we got. Did I miss the North? Oh, no. That's South. I think it's Kirk. Yeah, it's Kirk. My apologies. It's Kirk. So we got 2 out of 2, right? 2 out of division leaders at this point. I don't know where Jane Daniels is going to be after the injury. I think that I was reading some stuff today. They said he's not going to play. What they're looking towards, they're going another date. I think Friday. He probably won't play. Why put him out there? Just let him rest. So, it's still up in the air, right? I mean, everybody's talking about the Lions. Can they hold on? And we'll see. They won the NFC Championship game last year, and they lost to the Lions. I mean, they lost to the 49ers, who went on to lose to Patrick. So, in the AFC, the division winners right now, you got Buffalo, Lamar, Patrick and CJ Stroud. And look at his name. So I like Buffalo. Buffalo good. And you got Cincinnati. I think Buffalo better than Cincinnati. Cincinnati's too up and down. I think they just them cats, man. They just too up and down. They're not consistently focused on football. Whatever the issue is in Cincinnati, I don't know. I mean, they beat up on Cleveland and Deshaun Watson got hurt. There ain't much to say about Cleveland. I don't think I even talked about that team. I mean, they lost and Tyler Huntley came in, Deshaun Watson, and there ain't much to say about them, man. I mean, until they win some games. I mean, I'm pulling for them. But, I mean, at the end of the day, that division is crazy. You got the Steelers, the Browns, and the not the 49ers. Cincinnati. That division is brutal. So, I mean, we'll see going forward. Here at the BQF, we just looking at the black quarterbacks. Obviously, we look at all the NFL. We got to keep all that in the perspective. And if you watch the videos, fantastic. I appreciate the love. But y'all know, I ain't got time to be talking about all the websites. Websites. All the quarterbacks. Some of them don't even matter. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's all we got here this week, baby. So it's time for me to say bye, sayonara. See y'all next week.